There we go.
Oh no, now it's all legit.
Now we what to say. The record. We're on the record.
On the record. So you are tight with Michael.
Michael Riddler?
Yes.
Yes, I am. How do you know Michael?
We've crossed paths many times.
Uh-oh.
Michael and I. Yes.
He's an awesome guy.
He is a good guy. Yeah. Are you like a supplier to him then?
The other way around. He's a supplier to us.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Will you buy his equipment?
We're just starting. He just joined. Eden Energy just became an approved vendor in February. Yeah.
So super fresh.
Well, I've known Michael for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've known him since I got into the business.
It took you 20 years to trust him enough to go into business?
Well, no, we needed many things to conspire for the opportunity to happen. But
yes.
I worked for a company in Toronto that was a water furnace dealer. And so I actually learned to do fusion welding at the back of Eden Energy.
Oh, okay.
Years ago, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And how long has Climatecare been around?
Climatecare's been around since '92.
Forever.
Forever, yeah.
Basically.
Basically, yeah, like couple lifetimes, couple consolidation rounds. We've had a very so it's funny, like when things happen, I'm like, oh yeah, we've seen this before. Like it's nothing new under the sun. But we started in '92. There was a group of 6 small business owners, HVAC contractors who wanted to be in business and not be beholden to the gas company. This is kind of the intersection of that conversation that you were having.
Yeah.
So back in the day, and up until the 90s in Ontario, if you were a gas contractor, you were basically just a subcontractor for the gas company.
Yeah.
And we had 2 in Ontario: Union Gas in the southwest and Consumers Gas in the east, in the Toronto area. And eventually that all became Enbridge, right? In the last 15 years, Enbridge has acquired everything. So back in the day, you would wake up in the morning and roll into the office, and your fax machine would spit out all your leads for the day. And you would go, and those were the things that you could, those were the customers who had called the gas company and said, I need my furnace tuned up, or I need a new barbecue, or I need
So you got them directly from the energy provider, basically.
Oh yeah, it was complete and utter monopoly vertical integration. And then Climatecare. So Climatecare started in '92 with a 6 contractors who were like, we actually want to figure out how to be in business and actually run businesses and not just be beholden to the gas company. And then the first round of consolidation that happened at the same time, or right around the same time as the deregulation of the Ontario energy industry. So in 1999, the Ontario Energy Board said you can't be the provider of the fuel and the provider of the appliance. Right. They kind of did the same thing in other industries, like Bell Canada could no longer force you to rent a telephone. Remember those days?
Yeah, I remember those days. We had, what was it called? It was Alberta government telephones out here, and then
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like you've got to be. Can you imagine telling kids today you couldn't own your own telephone? And I remember you had to pay. I don't remember this. Maybe it wasn't the same, but in Ontario, you had to pay for each outlet that you had.
Yep.
Right. Like each place you could plug in your phone. Like, wow, this is like unbelievable.
That's why. I mean, there's still houses today that we go and service that have one outlet. Like it's in the living room. Like, how do you only have one outlet? My kids asked me that. I'm like, because you had to pay for it, so you weren't going to put one in the bedroom or in the kitchen and one down in the basement, because they were just every month you get your stupid bill.
Exactly. Instead, you had that super long
phone. Yeah. The 40-foot long phone cover.
It's totally crazy. Oh my God. So
yeah.
So in '99 they deregulated the Ontario industry. Now the unintended and Climatecare members were very involved in that fight. HRAI had this thing called the HVAC Coalition, and it was made up of a bunch of Climatecare members and other members of HRAI, and we fought against this not government control, but this monopoly control. I mean, people actually thought the utility was owned by the government too, which was another crazy thing. So,
did you guys didn't go through that? Because we had, sorry to interrupt, but we had Enbridge out here that turned into MX, and that was all owned by the government. And then I would say maybe 2010, they all split that up, and now it's gone to private equity, I guess.
Okay,
anyway.
yeah. So the route here was a little different. So Enbridge, Consumers Gas, which was originally Toronto Gas, Consumers Gas became Enbridge.
Yeah.
And then Enbridge actually, they had remember the 90s income trusts were all the rage? I mean, in Alberta, there was oil and gas income trusts. In Ontario, we don't actually make anything. So in Ontario, it was water heater income trusts.
Yes.
So they spun out their water heater portfolio into an income trust. And that was originally managed by Direct Energy. And then Enercare.
That's right.
Enercare became Direct Energy left Ontario. They left Ontario, and they sold it to what became Enercare. And Enercare was basically just the water heater rental company. And the same thing happened in the Southwest in Southwestern Ontario. Union Gas spun out Union Energy, which became Reliance. Okay. Reliance got sold to a private equity group called Alinda. And then Alinda sold it to CKA Holdings, Li Ka-shing, right? Li Ka-shing. Yeah. So Li Ka-shing still owns Reliance through CKA Holdings. And Enbridge, you have Enbridge Gas, and then you had Enercare, right? And Enercare was servicing the water heaters that were formerly owned by the utility. And then Enercare went public. It was traded on the stock exchange, Toronto Stock Exchange, for a while. And then it got sold to Brookfield.
Yeah, for like billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars. So first, it was crazy. So, and what was crazy was, I'd say, like, what do we create in Ontario? Really bad business ideas. So
you're talking to an Albertan, so I agree with you 100%.
Oh yeah, no, this is a crazy place. When I try to explain, what Climatecare is, to people outside of Ontario, I always start with, I'm not going to be the guy from Ontario coming to tell you how to do anything, because we don't know how to do anything. We destroy things here. So they took all these water heaters. They realized that, hey, we've got all these people paying us like money to rent the water heaters, which originally back in the 1950s, it's an interesting backstory about why people.
Tell me how that started. Like, we don't have any of that here, or I mean, we don't. I've never rented anything. I've never seen a rental. Yeah,
it's an insane financial cancer, and I'll tell you where it started and where it's gone to. So it started in Toronto, from what I can tell, my research back in the 1950s. Gas utility, Consumers Gas, was just starting to expand, and they wanted to expand into new construction. So the housing boom that was taking place after the Second World War in Toronto, and so they realized, how are they going to get gas into new homes? And because at the time people had electric water heaters, right? And they were renting those from the city too, from Toronto Hydro. So the gas utility went to the builders and said, we will provide a free water heater for you and a free gas connection. And we'll rent the water heater to the homeowner for $1 a month. That's how it started.
There you go. Yeah.
And by the time,
small and simple things.
So easy. It was like, why should I put in gas? What do I need to put in gas for? There's electricity. And they said, we'll put in the gas for you. It won't cost you anything. And we'll put in this water heater and we'll save you the cost. What would you spend for a water heater? $40? I don't know what it was back in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll give it to you for free, and we'll just charge the homeowner $1 a month. So that was how it got started. And by the time you fast forward to the 90s or to 2000, basically you've got 1 million people or 2 million people in Ontario renting their water heaters. Between Union Gas and Enbridge, you had like 2 million people renting water heaters, right?
Yeah.
So when they spun it out because they got deregulated, and the Ontario Energy Board said, you can't do this, they created this new standalone entity. It was originally called the Consumers Gas Water Heater Income Trust. fancy name, right? You can tell that was a name that they really spent a lot of time thinking
That's right. What should we call it?
what should we call this thing? I don't know. Who the hell cares? And we'll turn it into an income trust because that was the hot thing at the time.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't really think about anything. It was just like, we got to get this off the books, right?
Yep.
So a few years later, somebody realized, wait a second, if we're renting them water heaters, what else could we rent them?
Right.
And that was the beginning of rental HVAC in Ontario. And there's this crazy PowerPoint that I have that goes back to like 2003 that was called How to Build a Rental Bias. And it was from
to convince people to rent.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
What kind of math, what kind of crazy math do we have to use to convince people to rent instead of buying this thing? Because, like, is there another appliance that you rent? Like, I don't rent my dishwasher or my fridge.
No.
Why the hell am I renting my water heater, right? So, and then but we had been conditioned for 40 years. People in Ontario have been conditioned to rent their water heater. And so it was, well, if you rent your water heater, why don't you rent your furnace? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, yeah, I can make it make sense. Just give me half an hour at your kitchen table and some crazy math. And so they trained, it was Reliance at that time, trained their home comfort advisors in how to create a rental bias. And Reliance did it. And then Enercare was like, oh, if they're doing it, we got to do it too. And so Reliance has their rental, Enbridge has their rental. They call it the Advantage program. And they created dealer networks outside of their traditional area. And then Enercare was like, you know what, we want to expand across the United States because they were publicly traded. So Enercare went and bought Service Experts.
Yes.
And they bought Service Experts. It's a crazy thing. There's this interview now. The interview is like 10 years old. John McDonald, who was the CEO at the time, explaining on BNN why they bought Service Experts. It's because we want to expand our rental program to the United States. And they're in 90. There's like 90 Service Experts locations across North America.
Yeah.
And they didn't buy it because they thought they were great. I mean, I shouldn't say. I don't know why they bought. What other reason they might have had?
No, you can say exactly what you mean. That's fine.
What they said explicitly was they wanted to expand their Advantage program to the United States. That they saw this huge opportunity. And then, at the time, Enercare was publicly traded. So every quarter I would go on their website, their investor relations website. It's amazing what companies will tell their investors and how it differs from what they tell their customers. Unbelievable. And so they're talking about like
that's the name of the game, though, right?
What's crazy is like why the financial reporters never think to be like, or the consumer reporters never think to go like, what are they actually telling their investors?
You should show up in an investors meeting is what the consumer reporter should do.
They should 100%. So they were talking about like how they lobbied, to make it more difficult for people to get out of contracts in Ontario, and how they insisted on, everything that they would do came under the veneer of like consumer protection. I always joke, the consumer they were protecting was their own consumer.
Yes, yes.
Protecting them from their competition. So it got very messy. But what happened was, asset managers realized that if you've got patient capital, that a rental water heater portfolio, rental HVAC portfolio is gold, because these people pay you each month. It escalates every month, and it escalates a lot. It's like Reliance's contracts are 3% a year, and Enercare's contracts have been CPI plus 2. So whatever the rate of inflation is, plus
really,
2. Yeah, it's insane, right?
Wow.
So
I did not know that.
Yeah, and then you get to the depreciation schedules and the buyouts. And on the HVAC side, the buyouts can be incredible. The buyout on the Enercare's program never goes to zero. At 15 years, it goes to 5% of the original value, and then it stays there forever until you exit.
So when you go to sell your home or whatever,
right?
So they come up anyway.
Well, yeah, the contracts are assignable. They don't want to force you to pay it out. They want to they want to use it as a hook to get the next customer, right?
Yeah,
so
the
contracts are assignable, and they want the new buyer to take over the rental agreement.
Yeah.
So these were the first two. It's interesting. I mean, bad financial things that get created in Ontario. So this was really the dawn of private equity or asset managers owning residential HVAC companies. And then, it just kind of spiraled and continued to grow. And basically everything in Canada that exists in the rental space and private equities, almost all of them are derivatives of these two companies. So the guy who started Right Time, he came out of Union Energy. So he did it at Union Energy, and then he left Union Energy and he redid it. And then the second company he created was Right Time. And then you mentioned, Right Time was bought by Clairvest.
Yes.
And then it was sold by Clairvest to Griffin. And now Griffin has held it for 5 years, and I don't think they can figure out how to sell it quite yet. In the meantime, they bought Southern Air in the US. So they got, they're very big.
Yep.
But there's like 100 of these private equity owned companies now.
And I mean, our story is just a little bit, it's a little bit different mostly because of our natural oil and gas resources, where they're so abundant that we're like, electrification is sort of being pushed back upon. But the only people that are pushing that are the Reliances and the service experts of the world, where they do their rentals. And then because we have 3 here in Calgary that are part of the service expert group, that sort of came up with that exactly in the timeline that you spoke of.
Mm-hmm.
And they do the same thing, where we just dealt with one a couple of weeks ago where a guy was selling his house and the remaining balance was like $4,600.
Yeah.
And they decided, like you just said, wow, it'll just be cheaper for us to, continue with what we've got going on here, as opposed to trying to come up, the house was $600,000 or whatever it was. Well, we can't really afford another 5. So we're just going to pay them.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. They've been slapped down a couple of times by the Competition Bureau for making it hard to get out of their contracts. They haven't gotten any easier. They're brutally difficult to get out of.
Yeah, intentionally so.
Oh, 100%.
So how do you? I mean, the truth is 3 or 4 times a year, I'll have somebody, and 3 or 4 times a year, somebody from one of those types of firms will reach out to me and say, Bob, we love what you've got. We'd love to invest, blah, blah, blah. And out of those, 1 or 2 is quite serious. I'm like, listen, man, my number's 10, 8 to 10 million bucks. Unless you got 8 or 10 million bucks, let's not go for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a couple of those. My situation is it's basically being given to the boys, and they can do whatever they want with it going forward. But my question to you is, how you must have those guys coming after you, not coming after you, but
that's a good way to describe it. I had one guy try to do like a hostile takeover of the co-op.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh, it was crazy. That's a crazy story. It happened a couple of years ago. So basically what happens like this, these guys, there's 2 things that they're looking for. They're looking for a platform. I'm going to switch into PE lingo, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They're looking for a platform, which is an existing multi-branch business that they can now add on to, right? They can do tuck-in acquisitions into the platform.
Yep.
So if you have multiple locations, if you've got, good market share, you've got a good thing going on, that they can just buy you and platform you, then that's worth something to them. Now, if you're in that position, they're going to often give you, a half decent multiple on your EBITDA, although there's a bunch of negotiation that goes on there.
Yes.
And then if you're a shrewd negotiator, then you'll get a second bite of the apple, which means that when they sell it the next time, that you still have retained a piece, right? And that part's always open to negotiation. The more important you are to them, the bigger a piece that you can get for the second bite of the apple.
Gotcha.
But the idea of all of these guys, and this was a real education for me, as you said, because we've been approached so many times, I had to learn the game, is that they're in the business of buying and selling businesses. They're not in the business of running businesses. And you are at a huge disadvantage, because you are going to sell your business, once, twice, maybe if you're a serial entrepreneur, 3 times in your lifetime. But these guys do that like before they go for lunch. They bought and sold 3 businesses, right?
Yes.
So you're at a serious disadvantage because they know whatever. New York financial math is worse than Ontario financial math. So
Yes.
so if you're not that big, then they'll look at you as like a tuck-in acquisition. So you're a business that they want to buy and stick on, glom onto their existing platform. So
become a service expert thing or something. Right?
Yeah,
Join
like
that. Join that brand.
Right Time's a good example because Right
Yeah, there
Time,
we go.
they had a core of like 5 or 6 businesses at the beginning that they bought all in one fell swoop. Because what happened was when Enercare bought Service Experts, right, they had Enercare had existing franchise agreements, 7 existing franchise agreements in Ontario. So when they bought Service Experts, they could not take all of those Service Experts locations in Ontario without violating their non-competes with their existing franchisees. So they sold off a bunch of those Ontario locations to the guy who had created Reliance at Union Energy, a fellow named Vaughn Gettler. And so Vaughn took these like 6 companies and then started making tuck-in acquisitions, right?
Yeah.
And then, that was Clairvest coming in and investing in him. And then when they got big enough, he then flipped it he got his second bite of the apple and exited when they sold to Griffin. So the issue is that when they look at Climatecare, they say, oh, this is a ready-made platform. This is just like, we could just buy the whole thing. And I explained to them, no, you can't. We're a cooperative. We're a co-op. It's like, and I have to explain, especially Americans, like, what is a co-op? It's a completely foreign concept to them. A co-op is like a franchise, but the franchisor is owned by the franchisees. That's how I typically explain it, right? So all of our member companies own a common share in the co-op, and we exist to help them have more fun and make more money. So they want to buy the whole thing. They say, oh, there's value in the co-op corporation. We'll buy all the member companies. It's like, that'll never happen. I have enough trouble herding cats on a daily basis. We're not going to get them all to agree to sell. So they have picked off our members over time. A bunch of the Right Time locations in Ontario are former Climatecare members, because we're pretty good at helping people build good businesses. The challenge happens, what happens when it's time to retire? And I think you highlight this, like, are your kids going to come into the business? If they are, then that might be a good off-ramp for you, a multi-generational family business. Did you start your business, or was that your dad or your grandfather?
My dad. Yeah, my grandfather, dad. So it's, for tax purposes, it's a different legal name, but essentially it's
continuation of the family.
It's the flow through from beginning to me type of thing. Yeah.
Right. So if your kids get in, it's like 4th generation in the family business. That's beautiful. And it's getting harder and harder to find. I think, the boomers, from the greatest generation to the boomers to Gen X are, I think a lot of the millennials and, I don't know, Gen Z, whatever we're up to now, do they want to go into the trades? Now the trades have become sexy again.
They have, yes.
Maybe it is a good opportunity, but I find like a lot of our members, they had kids late, or they didn't have kids, or their kids, don't want to do this. They see what dad went through, and they don't want to follow dad down into the basement again. There's a lot of intergenerational family trauma in the trade.
The trade.
I love, like ghetto
walking into spider-filled basements, and that's the trauma that you get to do with.
Well, in the States, there's a huge company. They're owned by private equity too now, called Ghetto, and their logo is a kid holding a flashlight. And I always joke that what you don't see is the slap that.
That's right.
And not in my eyes, idiot pointed at the furnace.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly
right. So like, so many of my members have this trauma of like, it's Friday night or Saturday night and the heat's out, so at Mrs. Jones's house, and like, get in the truck and hold the flashlight. Let's go, kid.
Yep.
And so
100%.
Right. And so it's like, are your kids like, we're I think a little bit more touchy-feely in Gen X than our parents were. So like, are we going to do that to our kids? We got too soft. So
I'm just looking at your history. I'm on your website.
Oh, okay.
And so you started off as CEO group, right? Is that right?
CEO group, that's right. That was the Contractors Excellence Organization, I think it was.
Executive organization
Executive organization.
is what
There
it
we-
says.
Yeah, there we go. There, it's right. Yeah, CEO
Yeah.
group.
And then
Nice.
in 98, you turned into the Climatecare group.
Yeah, exactly.
And that had a little
And our
restructures as
first
the Climatecare Cooperative Corporation.
Climate Care Cooperative, yeah. So the irony is, so our first president, fellow named Gerald Inch, he was also one of the first companies to get rolled up by Lennox in the service. So at Service Experts,
Oh, okay. Yes.
Service Experts was a roll up by Lennox, right? Of their
Yep,
of a
it
bunch of
was.
Lennox. So Gerald Inch in 92 was the first president of Climatecare. In 98, he sold Roy Inch and Sons. So he was second generation. He sold Roy Inch and Sons to Service Experts. And his kids ran that business while it was owned by Service Experts, and it got sold a couple of times, and everything was good until Brookfield bought Enercare, and then it all kind of fell off. The wheels fell off the cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, and then 2000 we became a cooperative.
Wow. Don't forget, in 2019, you got your new mascot.
2019, Captain Comfort came into being. Yes.
Very nice. And then 2000. And then so it says here's 20. You had your 30th anniversary, and then 2024, you're 30. So if I understand, and I'm just going to shoot from the hip, and if I get it wrong, I get it wrong. But as it appears to me that I would join your group if I was looking for support, for training, for better pricing, maybe. Is that what you sort of your advantage that you get to
we
negotiate with Mikey?
What's that?
Oh, the 4 pillars. You get to negotiate with Mikey for better pricing?
Mikey with the exactly. So what we try to do is, first of all, it's member driven, right? So I've got a team. The support center team is 10 people. But we're really, everything we do is, like I said, how to help our members have more fun and make more money. So what are those things that, as a small, mid-size, HVAC mechanical contractor, that you struggle with? So typically the first one is purchasing. And so we're a buying group, right?
Gotcha.
And so, across our members, we buy about $30 million worth of stuff a year. And so we're able to negotiate better programs with our vendors. And we also pay our members back. So there's the vendors pay a rebate to the co-op, and our members get a patronage dividend and rebates for buying through the approved vendors. So the vendors, like Mike Ridler at Eden, they want to do business with better contractors that pay their bills on time, right?
Yes.
And so what we guarantee for the vendors is that, share of wallet. Our members, as part of being in the co-op, they have to buy a majority of their stuff from approved vendors, and they have to pay on time. You got to pay your bills on time, and those are two challenging things in our industry, as you know.
Yeah.
So,
and do you guys monitor that?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Each month, each vendor sends us a report of what each member company bought.
Yeah.
Dollar volume, and if they paid late. Yeah. And if they pay late, they get penalized. So there's a bit of a stick. But it means that our members, when we go to a vendor and say we need better pricing or we need a better program, they know that our members pay on time, and that's worth something to them. And the risk of a delinquent account is a lot less.
Yeah.
So that's, part of what we trade, so
if you're delinquent, is your membership in jeopardy?
No.
Or if I'm part of Enercare and I'm delinquent, like the first month, I get a stick. What's my stick? Can you share that information, or is that too?
Well, the rebate that the vendor was supposed to pay. So the rebate only pays the vendor if the member pays on time. Pays the vendor on time. And so if the member does not pay on time, then we bill the member for the lost rebate.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, and it's a big enough number that it creates an inducement to pay on time.
And if I continue in, like, let's just pretend, which happens to everybody, I have a sort of a 6 month down where my life sucks, or I'm
Right.
going through a divorce, or I mean,
Yes.
pick one,
Right.
that I'm delinquent. Is my membership at risk with you guys?
Yes. 100%.
There we go.
Yeah. And we'll work. Okay. So that's the first. Let's go through the pillars, because this will become important. You'll see why all
Okay,
four
let's do the
pillars.
pillars. Okay.
Okay. So the first pillar is purchasing, right? So we have a consolidated purchasing program with Carrier. So we buy Carrier, we carry the AR on that, we sell it to the members. It gives our members even better pricing, because it's like they're buying,
So do you guys have like warehouses and stuff then? Like, do
No.
you actually stock, or do you make them? Okay.
We only push paper.
Okay.
But we buy as far as Carrier is concerned, we look like an organization that's buying a lot of stuff, right? So each of our members is a ship to, and that program works pretty well. We do the same thing for water. We have a water treatment, water ROs and softeners and stuff. We have a company in Ontario called Excalibur. We have the same kind of deal with them. And then we also do warranties, extended warranties. We used to do it with a third party. Just this year, we started underwriting the warranties ourselves. Yep.
Okay.
But again, this is something I would tell a single owner operator: do not underwrite your own warranty. There's too much risk.
Yes,
too
there
much
is.
risk. But I can take that risk and spread it out over 30 member companies, right?
Yes.
So it's not like, well, maybe Bob's doing a bunch of bad installs and he's going to have to eat it, but I can take Bob's bad installs. No, not Bob's. Jim's at bad installs.
No, you can say Bob. Sometimes I install stuff badly. I'm not. It happens.
So that's our purchasing. We did have a rental program, or we called it the unrental program. We had a program called Clarity, which was not a rental. It was financed on a.
Okay.
It was a 10-year amortization, and it was financed, and you owned it from day one. But what we saw in Ontario is that some people want rental, right?
It's so crazy to me. I got a lot of flack for that because I did a little thing on rental, and I'm like, listen, rental and finance are two totally different things.
100%.
I mean, everybody has financed something at some point in their life, but the end goal is that you own it.
Yes.
Right. Like, I own this asset.
Right.
When you're rental, you never own shit. Like, it's gone.
Right. And listen, for some people, it makes sense. I don't want to, there are some people that it makes sense, but the way that, I'll give you an example. Sometimes maybe you want to rent a house, or you want to rent an apartment. You go on vacation, you get a hotel room.
Yeah.
Right. Because
you're renting,
you don't know what your plans are, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't have the assets to go and buy it. But I wouldn't rent my dishwasher.
I was just going to say, how many appliances do we have in our homes? We have, like, in today's day and age, we have like a dozen.
Yeah.
And you're renting two.
They want to rent you everything. They want to rent you everything. They want to rent car chargers. For crying out loud, it has no moving parts.
Yeah.
Car chargers, EV car chargers. They want to rent EV car chargers. And to them, it's like, this is the best thing to rent. It'll never break. It's a freaking plug. They're renting you a plug. So we had this program called Clarity. We were doing not a bad amount of business with it, but we could never really get the traction we wanted. But what people want, what we observed that people want, was a fixed monthly payment. Okay, we can pull that off, and maintenance included, and breakdown protection. So just let me pay you one amount each month for the next 10 years, and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it again. If it breaks, I'll call you. If it needs maintenance, I'll call you. And I don't have to think about it. Make it simple. So we tried that for 10 years. We pivoted. It never really got the traction we wanted. But that's their purchasing side. Then the next thing is marketing. Not everybody is great at guerrilla marketing like Baker Plumbing. So we help our members with marketing, whether they're branded Climatecare or they're branded something else. We have 10 members that are what we call their legacy brand. Brooks in Georgetown, Postma in Chatham, Peter Inch and Associates in London. They have their own brand. They've got a nice little badge that says a proud member of the Climatecare Cooperative, but they run their own legacy brand.
Well, I'm looking at your website again, and like your very first, you got a guy with a van that says Climatecare all over it, but then it says Don's Climatecare?
Dow's. That's Dow.
Oh, Dow's. Sorry, there it is. Yep.
Yeah. So we have
Dow's.
18 of our members are branded Climatecare. And right now, I mean, that can always change. And 10 of our members are branded their own legacy brand. So Dow's, Rob is actually our president this year. He's finishing up his term. But Dow's Climatecare, yeah, he's second generation in that business. His dad joined Climatecare, I don't know, 15 years ago. But if you go to the locator, then let me see. You might have gone. Are you on Join Climatecare or climatecare.com?
Oh, I'm on Join. Do you want me to just go to Join or Climatecare? Is that better?
If you go to the just regular climatecare.com, then and you click on the Find Your Local Climatecare, then you'll see that there's a bunch of companies that have different branding.
Oh, there you go.
So we wanted to make it easier. For 10 years, it was like we were a real stick in the muds. If you didn't brand as Climatecare, you couldn't join the co-op.
Yeah.
And it was just an impediment to growing. And since our real mission is helping people have more profitable, independently owned businesses, it was like, are we in the way of our own mission? So we let them keep their own brand.
And so we've only got to pillar one, but I'm gonna ask you a second question.
Sure.
Or maybe we'll save that. I'll save that one for the end. So pillar two.
So pillar two is marketing. Pillar one is purchasing. Pillar two is marketing.
Yeah.
Pillar three is training. And this is where we do technical training, or business training and coaching, or sales training. And so a bunch of stuff we do in-house. We have our own coaches and business trainers who have industry experience. And so Glenn Mellors is our main coach. He's been in his father's plumbing business, and then he went and he's worked in the wholesale side and the manufacturing side. And he's a coach for our members, really about, the nuts and bolts, the day-to-day, how to operate your business profitably. What do you need to be doing? What are the financials that you need to understand? He calls it a daily do or die. Like how much revenue do you need to generate today? At what level of gross margin in order to meet your profitability goals? And so that's very, very tactical. We also do more business platform coaching around a system called EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And so we help our members just build a system that's repeatable in their business, so that there's clear communication in the business. They know how to get things done in their business. So that's like a very high level kind of thing. Glenn works on the very tactical. We do marketing coaching, and more operations coaching. So that's on the training side, and then we'll bring in people. So we're doing our first Techapalooza next month, where we're bringing in, we'll have 100 technicians from across Ontario. And we've got our vendors coming in. And I said, this is not sales training. This is technical training. You are limited to 5 minutes at the beginning of the presentation for the why we should buy from you. And after that, the remaining 85 minutes have to be actual technical training, real technical stuff. So we're setting that up. We're really excited. That'll be a full day.
Awesome.
Of real technical training. And then we do sales training. We bring in sales coaches and trainers for technicians and for owners and for comfort advisors. Like, this is how you need to present yourself well. How do you explain stuff to the customer in a way that they can understand what you're saying? And just trying to create that gelling through the companies, that everybody's kind of on the same language. So we're trying to build, I can say, Rob, we're capitalists, but
yes.
we're kumbaya.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm a capitalist 100%. So
100%.
It's not a dirty word to me.
You got to make profit. Profit is the fuel for your business. It's not a dirty word.
No.
But I like to say our goal is to make profit keeping our core values, not in spite of our core values. And so for us, you'll see a lot of what we do is supporting local communities, supporting our people, supporting our customers. You know, we want to. It's not just that's not just like marketing fluff. Our owners, you know, have deep roots in their communities.
Yeah.
You know, I like to say it's like think Home Hardware instead of Home Depot.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's there. Well, we have that same dynamic here. We have lots of small town home hardwares,
Yep.
and that's their whole thing. Come and meet Sherry, or come and meet Bill, or at Home Depot. You have no idea who you're going to run across and what his level of knowledge is.
Exactly.
Okay, so you got. So is that your fourth?
That's three.
Is that capitalist? Fourth is capitalist and make money.
No, fourth is capitalism. Fourth is peer support. Peer support.
Peer support.
And this is I think the thing that's really been incredible. Because we're pretty self-selective of who we let into the co-op, right? We're not an association. We don't have to let everybody in. So we're looking for people who gel in the culture. And so we're looking for owner operators, folks that have been in the business themselves, have turned wrenches. They're either, you know, technicians themselves, former technicians, or the kids of technicians, right? And they are looking to grow their businesses or improve their profitability without giving up what makes them special, that independence, that owner operated independence. So the beauty of the peer support is that, you know, all of our members are partners in the cooperative. And so when we get together at least 4 times a year. We have 4 quarterly meetings. We get together, and it's incredible to see the sharing that takes place. People say, like, I've got an issue. I don't know how to deal with it in my business. I know that you're doing this well. How did you do it? And that willingness to share and to say, you know what, I'll come over to my shop. I'll show you what I do. Let's get on a Zoom call. We can talk about how we made this work. And the support that they give each other in saying, you know, even like the co-op just facilitates. We just create the opportunity for it to happen. But, you know, I often say that the best part of our general meetings, which are 2 days, is the hospitality and dinner in between. You know, because after you've had a drink and you've relaxed and you've had dinner and you're shooting the shit at the bar, you're willing to say, like, okay, I'm not making any money right now. Like, what am I doing wrong? You seem to have it under control. How are you doing it? And the willingness to share, that peer support. And unlike other groups, because there are like lots of these success groups that exist.
Yes.
Unlike these, we're local, you know, so we've been in Ontario forever. We've now expanded. We're now in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and PEI. Yeah, and our plan is to go national. Except Quebec. That's a different nation. That's a unique name.
It is a different listen.
Maybe.
You don't have to tell me that.
We'll find some Anglos on the island of Montreal. So, but that's the idea is that everybody should feel comfortable sharing with each other. And so we're really selective about who we let into the club, because we've got a no jerks rule.
I like that.
Yeah, and the process for getting in is long. It's like it takes 6 months. You got to come to 2 meetings as a guest. We want to see if there's a gelling, and it's like, you know, it's not like write a check and join. We're like very, very selective, because we want to maintain this sense of, I trust that guy, and if I think there's an issue, I'll raise it with him. Like, there's a real peer-to-peer kind of thing that happens that I haven't seen anything else. So those are the 4 pillars.
I see you got 2 locations in New Brunswick and PEI.
So Trade Winds. Yeah, Trade Winds is both. They actually have 5 locations. They have 4 locations in New Brunswick and 1 location in PEI. And we just signed up so they're a discovery participant. They're in their first year. So this is like dating, right? So you come to 2 meetings, and we got to see that you're like, you know, there's a good fit. There's a good culture fit. We have a membership committee that's made up of members. So, like, I can't be like, this guy's good, let him in. You got to pass muster with the membership committee, which is peer to peer. Yeah. And then you join as a discovery participant for 12 months and prove that you want to be in this thing. And then after discovery, then you can become a member of the co-op. So we just added Annapolis Valley Air Management. Today's their first day in Nova Scotia. So that's our fourth province that we've expanded into. And yeah, it's
and
funny.
You have plans coming west?
100%. Yeah.
Like I say, is a bit of a different animal altogether. Anyway.
Yeah, I worked so before I came to Climatecare. I worked for a company that became a Climatecare member. That was my start in the industry in 2005.
Yeah.
And then from 2010 to 2020, I worked for EMCO.
Oh, okay.
And
what did you do for EMCO? Like as a
so
purchaser?
I started off doing business development. I opened a new location, profit center in Hamilton, Ontario.
Okay.
And then this is the crazy part, was I started our own rental program. So I'll tell you. So what happened?
You are a capitalist.
I've been on all sides of this. So what happened was, this is a very long sorted affair, but I'll give you the Coles notes. So I went from being a contractor. I worked for a contractor for 5 years, right? Yeah. And in Ontario, you have to, and rental was the thing, like Direct Energy at the time, which became Enercare.
Yep.
Rental. And when I went to work for EMCO, I was like, listen, guys, we need a rental program. We need a leasing program. We need some kind of a program that allows our contractors, HVAC and plumbers, to have access to the market. We're not like we have. Bob, what percentage of water heaters, residential single family homes, what percentage of water heaters in Ontario would you figure are rental?
Oh man, I thought you were gonna ask me here. It would be like 2%, but there it's probably like 82%.
It is 80%. And in new construction, it is virtually 100%.
So it's ongoing.
Oh,
like nobody's figured out the game yet.
Oh, 100%. Oh, the game is not even close to being over. So almost 100% in new construction. So
really?
Oh yes. So
okay, so
if you're a wholesaler,
question.
Yeah.
If you're the wholesaler and you're obviously selling to the builder, and who's your biggest builder out there?
Mattamy, maybe.
Okay. Oh, Mattamy showed up here a couple years ago.
They don't rent. And Mattamy doesn't rent, as a matter of fact.
Oh, they don't.
Peter Gilligan was like, that's not good for my customers. They don't rent.
Oh,
yes.
Well, good for him.
Ethical builder.
So he's able to get it at a wicked price. We'll say, like,
you want to know this might be another episode, Bob. This might be an episode.
That's behind the curtain stuff. Yeah,
behind
exactly.
the curtain on rental water heaters. I'll tell you, that's another episode. But I'll tell you like this. I'll tell you like this.
That's fine. We should do it again.
If you're a wholesaler and you want to sell water heaters, you better be selling into the rental channel. Because if you're not, you're fighting only for that remaining 20%. And you've got big box, you've got like Home Depot and Lowe's.
Yep.
They've got like half of what's left, right? So all of like Wolseley, EMCO, they're fighting over the remaining 10%, unless they can get into the builder channel, into the rental channel. So I came to EMCO. I said, we need a rental program. But what I wanted to do was create a rental program, because I'm a capitalist, but I'm a kumbaya capitalist, not a rapacious capitalist. So I wanted to find a way, how do we support our contractors in fighting the rental guys, right? And so we created our own rental program. And the idea was that we would help our contractors, right? Help Baker Plumbing go to the builder and say, instead of using Enercare or Reliance, we will rent you the water heater. We will do the same thing that you would do, but you get to deal with me instead of dealing with them. And we were actually getting quite successful. And then COVID hit, and the whole thing fell to pieces. The whole new construction market fell apart. But that's the game is intense, but that's another conversation. So, but putting together a rental program, that's what I did at EMCO. For a few years, and we were very successful in accessing and helping our plumbers and HVAC contractors access the new construction market, because if you're, what they'll do, and this is how it can be insidious, is that the rental provider goes to the builder and says, install my water heater, I'll give you an installation allowance. And then the builder goes to you and says, Bob, include the water heater installation as part of your scope of work.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying you anything extra for it.
I know.
Right. And they're pocketing the installation
Yes.
allowance that the rental company gives them. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to go to you and I'm going to say, Bob, bring me to your builder, and we're going to figure out between the two of us how much he's getting paid by the existing rental company.
Yeah.
I've got this much money in the pot. Whatever they're not paying him, I'll pay you.
Gotcha.
And that's how we made it work.
And that's why.
Yeah.
And that's how you attracted basically the tradesman to your door. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Because and what it meant was that we ended up selling water heaters like crazy. I mean, I was in an HVAC division, but we ended up selling, by the time I left, we were selling more water heaters than we were furnaces. Because
of that program, because of the rental thing.
100%.
Wow. And then you joined, and then you came to Climatecare after EMCO?
Yeah, so my job got COVID. And the EMCO decided to, that's a funny story. We were on a call, manager's call, like right at the beginning of COVID. And one of the vice presidents said, so we're going to be, any project that's not budgeted to being profitable this year, we're going to pause. And I'm like, who else on this call has a project that's just a startup and isn't budgeted to profitability? Okay. And then then we got off the call. My phone rang about 20 minutes later. I was like, oh, it was me. So that was the end of my career at EMCO. But I had a great 4-month vacation, and Climatecare was looking for a new executive director. And I was like, hey, not only was I working for a member, at that point, 15 years before.
Yeah.
But I when I was at EMCO, I was responsible for the Climatecare account. So I had stayed in touch for 10 years. And so I was fortunate enough to move over.
To make the switch over. And so is that your role now, the executive director?
I am. Yeah. Since August 2020.
Nice. That's awesome. And it's going well.
It's been going really well. We've been growing, expanding. We actually came up with this solution. What happens when private equity keeps knocking on your door? So we lost one of our biggest members to private equity right after I started. Like, I started in August, and May the following year, our biggest company at the time, and he was the president of the co-op, they got acquired by Right Time.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I said to them, like, what would
Did that feel like a betrayal?
A little bit. But
did he? And you don't have to give me the details, but is he better off because he sold?
Listen, COVID was hard, man. Like, I can't. Like,
COVID was hard.
COVID was hard, and they had grown. They bought that business from it was Marcy and Andre, and they bought it from Marcy's dad, and it was a little business, was doing, I don't know, like under $3 million a year. Yeah. And they grew it to a $9 million business. And it was doing well, but it was big. You've got a lot of people. They were managing a very big team, and COVID was very hard.
Yeah.
And Right Time knocked on the door and offered them a number they couldn't say no to. I can't, I can't fault them for that. You're in business. It's your biggest asset. Yeah. Somebody says, I want to pay you twice what it's worth. You're not going to say no. Yeah. So they rang the register. But I asked them in the exit interview, like, what could have prevented this? And they said, well, if we would have sold it to the co-op if the co-op could have bought the business. So it was like, oh, that's interesting. How do we do that? So that started us on like a 5-year journey to figure out how to pull that off. And that's our Navigator program, which you'll see on Join Climatecare under the About Us. And we bought our first business last year. So Bob and Nancy,
so you actually have
the co-op owns one business, owns one company now. So if you go look at that Navigator page, And so that company in Newmarket, Ontario, Canco, is now owned by the co-op, effectively owned by our other 30 member companies. And so Bob and Nancy, they've been in that business for 40 years. They grew it from nothing. And their kids are adults and not in the HVAC industry. They weren't interested in taking over the business. Their employees weren't in a position to buy the business. And we said, you know what? You guys have followed the Climatecare playbook. Let's make Canco the first business that we acquire.
Does that become competition to your others? Or do you
Not
have
at all.
Have you geofenced your?
We don't geofence. We're mindful of not oversaturating a market with Climatecare members, but so we've got a member in Woodbridge, which is 20 minutes west of Canco, maybe 20, 30. Certainly they've overlapping territories. We have members. We have a member, another half hour east of Canco. We've got a member half hour north of Canco, and we've got members half hour south of Canco. And what's interesting is the opportunity is, let's figure out how to make stuff work in Canco. That can be our testing center now.
Yeah.
When we figure it out, then we can give it to the other members, right? The other thing is, I've got a guy. So our member.
So is that the plan? Whatever. So basically, if 30 members own Canco, and let's say Canco does $1 million, they take. Is it going to be like the NHL, where you take your escrow funds and stick it into the middle, and then everybody gets a little piece of that at the end?
Yeah, to some degree. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the profit from Canco, and we're going to invest it in programs for our members, right? So we do pay dividends. We actually pay dividends to our members.
That was good. I was writing down some questions here, which we may run out of time. I don't know your schedule.
I've got another 10 minutes, but we pay patronage dividends. We gave out $500,000 last month in patronage dividends for members, and then members can acquire equity in the co-op. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but they can acquire equity in the co-op. They do acquire equity in the co-op, and so we pay a dividend on that, prime +1 or prime +2. So that's another nice little, you can get $5,000 back in the dividend. But then, the retained earnings, we are investing in new programs for our members. So more trainers, more events, things like Techapalooza. When we bring in a trainer, we'll be able to subsidize it, right, based on the profitability. So Canco will be a profit center for the co-op, and the profits will get plowed back into developing new programs and things for the other member companies.
Wow. That sounds pretty good, actually. Sorry, I'll let you fit. And that, so are you going to turn into the enemy?
No, absolutely not. And I can tell you this with great certainty.
Okay.
Because, well, first of all, we're driven by our core values, right? And members who want to sell to private equity, they can go do that. There's nothing that stops them from leaving and going to private equity. And listen, for some people that will be attractive. That's what they want to do. I was down at an event in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and I was struck in the States, man. There's it's the gold rush. Everybody wants to become, contractor millionaires. Yep. And I'm not against becoming a millionaire as a contractor. I just want to do it inside our core values, right? And so if you care about your people, you care about your community, care about your customers, and then you should look around and see what is private equity's track record. It's not so good.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Right. And so so Navigator has been about okay, how do we help you sell your business to your kids? Right. So I've got that. We've got that right now. We've got businesses that are going to transition from parents to kids, and we want to help the business become profitable so the parents can make enough money to retire. Right. So the kids are going to pay what the business is worth, right?
Yep.
And then the kids will have the support to continue to grow the business. And maybe their kids will take over, like your third generation, or they'll sell to another member in time, right? Or they'll be able to sell to the co-op. That's our ultimate goal, is to create a self-perpetuating thing. Why do I know we're not going to sell to private equity as a group? We've been approached.
Or become private equity. Yeah.
because when we set out to create the Navigator program, we made the conscious decision that wasn't going to be something we wanted to do. We're a cooperative. We're incorporated under the Cooperative Corporations Act in Ontario. We have a mission to help our independently owned businesses grow and and we're unique. I mean, we're unique as far as I can tell, maybe even in North America as a contractor co-op.
Yeah.
And it's not going to appeal to everybody. I don't need to appeal to everybody, but for the 5% or 10% of contractors that are like, this is cool, this is what I could imagine being part of this, fine. That's who we want to help. Everybody else can go do other things. It's a big market.
It is a big market. You remind me a bit of, I don't know if I think it's called BDI, where they have that sort of business group where you get to, and it's a variety, and they basically doing the same thing that you're talking about, where you sort of share in the pool of talent to magnify your business. But the attractive thing about yours is you're all actually in the same and experiencing the same problems and successes and all the rest of that stuff. So it's real world as opposed to listening to a chiropractor or a real estate agent tell you how they solve their problems. I'm like, bro, that's got nothing to do with me. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Like we just did at our general meeting. Last 2 weeks ago. Man, time is flying by. It was 2 weeks ago. So we did a round table. We called it the 3 rings to success. This is Glenn Mellors came up with this. You got to get the phone to ring, the doorbell to ring, and the cash register to ring. Right? If you're going to be successful in a home service business, you need the 3 rings. So what we did was we put together a panel of 5 members that each one excels at one of the rings, and we had a 2-hour conversation for the rest of our members about how they do it. Right? It's like get the juices flowing. Like how are you consistent about lead generation? How are you consistent about conversion at the kitchen table? How are you consistent? How do you get your AR down that you're not drowning in AR?
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Well, so you're basically year 6, we'll say, or year 5, going well. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I want to be respectful of your time, and I know you got other things to do.
I'd be happy.
We should have another one.
We should have another one. We can do the behind the scenes of private equity funding, behind the scenes of water heater rental programs, what they won't tell you, what the rental company doesn't want you to know.
Yeah.
There's lots of angles for sure.
That's the beautiful thing, right? Like there's lots of interesting stuff going on in the world, and as you said, and I've said a million times, the trades are sexy right now.
Yeah.
And relevant, and so I think it's worth the discussion.
Periods like these, of course, people want to get into business.
All right, that's how it works.
That's it. Awesome, Bob. It is a real pleasure to meet you.
Same here. And when you go for lunch with Mikey, you smack that dude for me, will you?
Absolutely. He's smaller but bigger than me, but I'll smack.
Well, that's right. Use your height advantage somehow.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. Send me this whenever you get a minute.
You got it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. Bye.